do really like that pick. Scales well overall too.
Yeah, and having the Chen in lane means that AM shouldn't be pressured too hard because, he'll get that bonus regen that, so even if Sanking, they don't manage to get rid of all his sentries and he's able to sit inside the Sandstorm, AM shouldn't mind too much, as you're saying.
Yeah, as far as Virtus Pro goes, they have quite a dilemma on their hands. Like, I think they still want to run this as a safe lane Ember, but for the mid lane, what can you pick now that's going to deal with both OD and the anti-mage?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Okay.
They want to run real quick. So their idea is to get online far before the UR anti-mage, which, I mean, Alchemist doesn't necessarily lose the lane super hard to OD, but it's not a good lane. I feel like as far as Alchemist goes, like he's not gonna be able to like farm that super well.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's the kind of thing where, he'll acid spray it, get whatever he can, retreat into the jungle, rinse and repeat. And, even if he doesn't win the lane, he's another hero like TA who, they're not amazing laners, but where they truly do thrive is in that jungle. And, I expect, we'll see that. I think 11 minutes is about Radiance, and that's when he'll become truly scary.
Yeah, I think I really like Forward's draft. Like, it looked a little shaky at the initial parts of this, but I think Forward has the tools that to win this game. It's really going to come down to them playing correctly. Yoar is going to have a lot on his shoulders to play successfully here, not only in just the laning stage, but to just stay in front of Ramses in farm, and that is something that's very hard to do with the new Ember Spirit.
Yeah, one thing we should talk about is how good an AM is it? How much catch they have? What are his odds of being caught out when he's doing usual AM split pushy things?
Well, if we look at their draft, right, you do have Soulbind from Grimstroke if he gets Soulbinded to an ally, right? You do have Roots from Ember Spirit, and you have the Blink Burrow most likely coming out from the Sand King. But once Anti-Mage has a Manta style, this game becomes very difficult for Virtus Pro. They don't really have the ability to take down UR very easily.
So do we expect VP to just, continually look for that aggression on the AM before he has that Manta style? Like just continue trying to shut down the AM?
I mean, they're going to want to, but I don't think they will be able to. This top lane should go pretty well for UR.
Yeah, I'm just following the VP smoke now. It has a little while left on it, but they put pressure on this high ground. UR still hasn't leveled, so he can get a point in that blink if he wants it. Oh, they see him.
Oh, boy.
Level 1 actually into the Searing Chains, and it's not going to net them the kill.
I mean, you do force the blink, which honestly is going to change this lane matchup quite a bit. This is not ideal.
Yeah, because you want the level 1 mana burn, because as you're saying, that's what makes him so strong against the Sand King.
Yeah, having to go blink level 1 makes this lane a lot more difficult for UR. So that's really, really, really nice from Virtus Pro to realize that, apply that aggression, and now they give themselves a little bit of a lane advantage, at least until level 2.
Yeah,
UR's just walking bottom. They're swapping lanes right away.
Do you think, is this honestly just a response to the fact that he's taken blink level 1?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, they could just be thinking that they're going to be keep putting the Ember Spirit top, and this could just be like them guessing. But I still think you would want the Anti-Mage against the Sand King. Overall, I think that lane is still better than going against the Ember Spirit.
Okay, so Snake King's actually wandering bottom, so it looks like you might be right about
recalled back top. Yeah, so there's Pilot Die, pulls him back top once he sees the Sand King.
Yeah, and this is honestly one of the great things about the Chen. It just means, if you do have advantageous lane matchups, you can always get them without using TPs.
All right, so overall, I think Forward Gaming going to be pretty happy with the lanes. I can't imagine that mid's going to go badly for CCNC. Yes, he'll just have to deal with Acid Spray, but OD is a hero that farms extremely fast as well.
Yeah, and Ramses, the fact that he's taken level 1 in the Syrian chains, that's not ideal either, to be honest, because very often you want that Sleight of Fist to be able to secure CS.
Yeah, you either go Sleight of Fist or you go the Flame Guard, and usually the Flame Guard, you pick that up to just try and shove the wave and give yourself like an XP advantage, and then you can go into like Sleight of Fist or something along those lines. And going Searing Chains level 1 and doing that to try and secure that kill, just not going to pay off for him. Centaur just being able to do whatever he wants as a result. So I guess both of these, that game kind of backfired for both teams, right? In an essence.
Yeah, at least with their level 1 skill builds. I'd agree with you there. But you know, now he's hit level 2, nothing's really changed. And he seems to be having a great old time. He even has a sentry on himself, you know, if he wants to get a bit more aggressive inside the sandstorm.
Solo is going to be so terrified because with like a roll in from... Oh, he misses it. I was like, if MSS hits a roll in, they can definitely kill Solo with just the 2 of them. They'll have plenty of damage.
Snaky just farming this big wave bit by bit.
I mean, he's got 10 stacks of Retaliate now because Solo's just been clicking him. Top lane? Ooh, barely misses. Okay. They try to make a play with the Inkswell, but not going to happen.
Yeah, and you are... oh, it must have been a Chen creep. Sorry, I was
I was like, what is that creep doing? But yeah, it was a Chen creep. That was funny.
Yeah, I assumed it was bound to a camp as well, and then I see it retreating to the safety of the tower. To only be killed by its master. Pylai die, no mercy by him. MSS is thinking about rotating mid, and no one pretty low, doesn't have any sort of regen. If MSS is able to find this, they might be able to get a big kill on the Alchemist.
Yeah, now Pasha's lane top is very difficult. Yoard pretty much just free farming, and Pasha just sitting in lane with no mana, can't farm really.
Radiant are
yeah, I'm just staying watching this mid lane. Oh,
very good scan.
So now he knows exactly what's up. He does have the salve, but he needs to be careful because I'm pretty sure if he uses it, MSS will go to cancel it. Oh, just using the courier to show he has the vision. I love that. That's a really great play. In the top lane, however,
again almost goes down.
Yeah, so that was just the Burrow Strike and the Inkswell. Well, especially with the rotation from MSS, they do have a sentry. They put it down, but it's instantly eaten by Roger, so they don't have detection for Pasha. And they're able to get first blood on Roger and another kill for Pasha.
Wow, what a play by Roger.
I was not expecting them to get both those kills, but as soon as that sentry came down, they just had the instant D-ward. It was just in range of the sentry they had, and he ate it instantly, so it meant they couldn't have the vision over Pasha. And Roger just with that amazing accuracy on his stroke of fate. So great trade in this top lane for Virtus Pro.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Pasha's got to be careful now. Yeah, he's just...
Yeah, he has no mana. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he's definitely dead. There's the lightning creep. So it does at least farm a little bit on the stack, but giving that kill to Pylai Die, he'll be happy about that for sure. And 5-minute runes coming up, he should be able to secure...
Yeah, I assume no one will fight Pylai Die for this, right? Oh no, but
yeah, well,
they
Pasha's
are
TP'd
rotating
as well.
MSS. Pasha does have the stun. They have no detection for the Sandstorm. And it looks like it's just going to be 2 for 2 runes, so not as ideal as it could be, but Paladine might be in a bit of trouble, but they're not going to commit for him. Pasha realizes his place is in the lane, and he sees some juicy CS that he can't pass up.
Yeah, it looks like no one kind of just doing his jungle thing as an alpha. Pretty standard what you would expect, but really good plays from Pylai, kind of forcing him out, taking his farm as well. He just takes the Centaur creep from the camp, and now he has to run to the other side of the jungle. Yeah,
Ramses and Snaking, they've just been left to their own devices in this bottom lane, and surprisingly, it's allowed Ramses' Ember to come out on top. And with an Ember Spirit, you really enjoy when you get left alone like this because you are so level dependent.
I actually played this exact matchup earlier today. I was the Ember Spirit into a Centaur Warrunner, and it feels super easy. There's not a whole lot Centaur can do. He doesn't have enough burst damage to really flame guard you mid lane.
Yeah, it was just an Astral and Pylai Die flanked, and so the Astral just sets up for the Centaur creep. No one, he's actually got a point into the concoction, and that might be enough to save his life. He's still not level 6. They do have the Astral, but now that they've seen Solo and Roger TP in, no one is going to be okay. Yeah, so we had an Astral Imprisonment from CCNC, and it just set up so nicely
bottom.
for these.
Yep, goes down. Triple remnant. So Ramses gets a little bit of harass on him with just the flame guard damage, and then just triple remnants him under tower. Gets an easy kill.
Yeah, and they have vision over this regen rune as well. So Ramses, well, whatever mana he spent, he's going to get it right back. You are doing well on the CS, but Pasha, you know, you said this might be a tough lane for him, but he's doing pretty okay.
Darkness.
I think overall, this has to be favoring Virtus Pro. Like they're with how well Pasha's doing top lane, great roll into the Centaur Stomp.
Yeah, Pasha had the Ink Swell on top of him. Is it enough to take down Yuar? He needs one more right click, and he actually does get it. MSS really low.
That was a really great counter initiation by Pasha, and Grimstroke gets the Ink Swell off just in time so that they can turn that fight.
Yeah, Roger will be happy. His death most certainly worth it for that big kill on the anti-mage. Also using Roger's death to just refill his bottle, so he'll have that mana and health regen as soon as he needs it. Pylai Die flanking from the back. Do they have detection for this? Yeah, they do have a sentry down over here, but Roger, he's back, so you can't really kill Pasha at all.
Gives him a nice little ball charge. Wow, Snake King actually stampedes away just out of fear that Ramses is going to dive him. And it's the same situation it was earlier, right? Snake King can't really contest this at all. He'll need like an early hood of Defiance or a Vanguard.
Yeah, they
actually pull in CCNC.
Yeah, they take CCNC, they have the dust, so now they've got Pasha caught. Roger, he doesn't have his TP for 37 seconds, so both these heroes might be dead. They use the Sanities, but he pops his stick to get mana for the Bio Strike after. The Ink Cell latched on 2. They're all sitting inside the Sandstorm. There's a lot of damage, but Pasha, the dust, it lasted a little bit too long. Do they know where this Sand King's hidden? Oh, eats his way through the trees.
Oh my gosh, Yawar has no idea. Are they going to scan for it?
This is actually a Radiant scan, so they know someone's still there, but wow, Roger and Pasha just playing amazingly. They even recalled CCNC for that gank, and they got nothing out of it because the levels in the Sandstorm, they're just taking so much damage when they can't kill this Sand King.
Yeah, I feel like Yawar might have played that a little bit too passive because he didn't really want to like blink in out of fear of getting burrowed and stunned up from the Inkswell. And so he was just kind of relying on CCNC to just get that kill. But unfortunately for him, Pasha just able to sneak away.
Yeah, and it feels like this Alchemist, he really hasn't been that punished yet. He even went for the double Bracer build just so that he was able to stay in lane a little bit longer against CCNC.
Ember Spear. Ramses is just pulling away in net worth right now. Sitting at 4,300 in front of his Alchemist even.
Wow, I didn't realize he was ahead of the Alch. That's pretty damn
this hero
impressive.
farms so fast, especially in a good lane.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, and you can see his level advantage against Snake King. He's 2 levels ahead. This is certainly not what you were hoping when you were the side of Ford Gaming. I mean, you picked the OD to try and shut down the Ember, but it's exactly as you're saying. He's having an absolutely free game, but I think we might have a fight around these 10-minute bounty runes.
Yeah, top lane. It looks like they're definitely getting ready, but Inkswell gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and 3 this time for the side of Virtus Pro. That's a nice little injection of cash
Just 2, actually.
for no one.
One was bottle.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, because Snake King got 1 bottom, and they got 1 top for forward.
Pylai Die and MSS, they're around in the jungle. No one... It does catch vision of them at last.
He doesn't care. He's got his ult up. He's not too worried about dying.
Yeah, I guess they're just...
with an infant, though. He's rotating over.
I think they were just trying to contest these stacks a bit. Oh, Chen, you might have a sentry down, but I don't think it really matters. Oh, the Flame Guard with the Inkswell. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is a point where Virtuous Pro's lineup is just going to start taking off. I don't think Forward has like as good of a start on Yawar as they'd wanted. Pasha did really well in that lane, and Snaking bottom has just been completely shut down by the Ember Spirit.
Ramses might be in a bit of trouble at the mid lane. He is actually going to be okay. He was pretty low on mana and didn't have a defensive remnant, but able to make it to safety.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see, CCNC going for the first item. Veil has triple null. I'm about it. That's pretty cool. I think the Veil build is really interesting. He's actually getting recalled right now. Looks like they're trying to make a gank on the Pasha. They have Stampede.
Do they have detection? They do have a sentry there on the Shen Pasha, able to biostrike himself into the trees, but they're continuing to chase for this. TPing in is the Grimstroke, but as soon as they see everyone under this tower, I think they're just accepting that their Sand King is dead.
So they find themselves a good kill, and they're going to transition this into the tower for sure. They have the catapult creep here. Top lane, Virtus Pro trying to return the favor. So this is...
top tower is under attack.
Yeah,
good rotations.
Yeah, this is something I really like that you see from very good teams, is they look to take these fights around the catapult waves, you know? Just because if you get a kill around that, you know, 10, 11 minute mark, it's more likely going to transition into an objective. Ramses, I think he has his full drums completed now. This is very early for him, and no one. He's, you know, managed to get himself to number 1 in the net worth, and is going to have his Radiance pretty damn soon. Relic already online.
Yeah, he does have just the brown boots, but you pointed out earlier the double bracer to help keep him alive. He should have the Radiance here in the next like minute or two. CCNC trying to take mid tower, but they are going to fort it. Smoked up here on Roger and Solo as they move their way to the mid lane.
Yeah, Pylai die every time. They're just combing through the Radiant jungle looking for stacks, and this Chen has actually done a fairly good job of denying at least some of the farm from this out.
Mid lane, they're going on him.
They pop the ultimate, the golem, as well as the Inkspell on top of it. They TP in with the centaur, but he's not able to get that boost stop because he was stand up instantly. Now Snaking, he's affected by the Soulbind, and I don't think you're escaping from this. Ramses, he'll have Sleight of Fist in a few seconds. Does he need to use that Remnant? I don't think so. The Sleight of Fist, more than enough. Take down Snaking, so 2 big kills here in this mid lane.
Yeah, he TP'd right into a full stun duration Inkswell on on Centaur, so not able to keep CCNC alive.
You are. How is he doing? We're 13 minutes in, and he only has the Perseverance. Obviously, he did stop off the treads so that his lane gets a bit easier, but this is going to be a pretty slow Battle Fury, to be honest, and it's because the lane just didn't go as well as he thought it might.
He does have double Wraithband with the treads as well, so he's got a little bit more farm than what you would may like expect, like not like an ideal timed Battle Fury, but he can farm pretty quickly if he gets left alone. I'm trying to find Pasha here, and he will just, oh gosh, he has a Blink Dagger now. He just bought it.
Yeah, but Snaking has a Blink Dagger of his own, goes into the trees, but they know exactly where he is. The Sandstorm is coming off cooldown, but he's affected by the dust, so I don't think you're getting away from this one.
That's the second time they've made this big rotation bottom to try and find Pasha, and it's paid off, so if they don't find that kill, it's a huge commitment for nothing. This is Stampede being used both times. They smoke up again right away, actually, which is very interesting. They just want to try and shut down this jungle.
Yeah, this is where they think the Alchemist is farming, but he's actually farming the stacks over here. So instead, they're probably just going to have to settle for this Warlock of Solo. MSS rolls in. the Shadow Word, it's not going to save you. Throws out the Fatal Bonds, but yeah, I mean, that's worth it, right? Your life for reward.
Yeah, of course. That was his mission, really. You know, he's just like, I want this ward. Dies for it. He's like, hey, at least I completed my mission, you know?
Yeah, obviously the side of Forward Gaming, however, they were really hoping to catch the Alchemist in that. And, you know, he's got the Radiance now. He's shooting up through the net worth. They're getting bounty runes. And but I do have to praise what the side of Forward is doing. Just look at how aggressively they're farming.
I mean, they're taking objectives. They've gotten 2 towers now, mid and bottom. And they've taken out a lot of the Radiant jungle. This is really good of UR to keep playing down here because he's not very easy to kill for Virtus Pro. But I don't know. I think, like you said, the Alchemist is going to be an issue here. He's just accelerating his farm so quickly.
Yeah, just looking towards that Manta style next. And do you expect to see a Blink after that? I know on some Alchemists, I've seen them literally just go Radiance treads into Blink Dagger to just take advantage of that early Radiance so early. But, you know, no one a little bit more farm orientated.
Alright, mid tier 1. Easy claim.
How
finds himself a haste or two.
How is our anti-mage of UR doing? Okay, he's not that far away. Only needs another 400 gold, and then A respectable about 17-minute Battle Fury.
He's getting smoked on right now. I don't think they saw the courier
Thanking. They do get the stun. Is there follow-up? They do have Golem if they want to drop it. They're actually holding on to Golem just because they had the silence. Now Solo, he's mimicking it. Does actually go for it, but snaking a 3-man stun. They roll in MSS, the Fire Strike, as well as the Soul Bind on them, but they are all affected by the Magnetize. Now the Stampede so that they can follow up. They're chasing forward, and they do manage to find Solo. As the Ember Spirit, Ramsey's able to get himself to safety in the trees, but was still affected by that Sand Tease Eclipse. They roll forward. MSS, they haven't managed to find Ramsey's inside the trees, but they have an idea where he is. He's just cutting through the trees with the use of his Quelling Blades, and I think he is going to be okay. Unless he sees Ramsey's as soon as he comes out. Doesn't have the Mana Void, but is there any follow-up? No. I think Ramsey's is going to be okay here.
I don't know. Snake King's hunting him down. He's not going to let him shrine or anything, so he's going to have to go all the way to base.
Yeah, but a very nice engagement from the side of forward. They tried to kill the anti-mage, but they just didn't commit the golem to it early enough, and then they commit it when he's, not next to any hero to have the follow-up damage.
It was really nice of Snake King to wait until golem gets dropped. Like he was very patient hiding behind the tree line, like next to the tower, and then as soon as golem drops, he blinks and stuns 3, so there's no follow-up initiation. Stampedes his whole team forward to turn the fight. It was really smart play by him. Yawar not only survives, but gets the money for his Battle Fury, and now he's off to the farming races. So going to be catching up to the Alch. Not going to catch up to the Alch, but, close the gap between an Alchemist, which is huge for an anti-mage.
Yeah, and Pylai Dai, it feels like literally every time I'm looking at this Chen, he's just aggressively farming the Radiant camps. He's really removing a lot of this farm from the map that no one would want himself.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Top lane, Snake King gonna be able to take a tier 1 with the help of Pylai Dai.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
His creeps do so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Wolf, you have all the auras you could ever want, and yeah, just clearing this Radiant Triangle, and all the meanwhile, CCNC, it feels like he's just had his entire Dire jungle to himself.
And this has been a lot of space for CCNC as well. He has been farming non-stop in the jungle and now has just a completed BKB 18 minutes into the game. So he just went Boots, Veil, BKB. He just wants to fight, and no one on the side of VP can tell him otherwise at this point.
Yeah, Ramsey's trying to defend this tower over here in the top lane, but they are thinking about setting up of him. Snake King as well as MSS. I think he has a pretty good idea that these heroes are here.
Radiant's middle tower.
CCNC's pinging bot lane, asking for help, but they're just going to sack the tower. They're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, you are cut the wave, so they can't get anything other than this tier 2, but it's exactly as you said, he used to be so far behind. This Ember Spirit of Ramsey's, who had, really a great laning phase, seems to have fallen back a tiny bit.
Yeah, CCNC just farmed top and jungle for like 5 minutes straight, and Yawar, once that fight happened, gets the Battle Fury. This hero takes off so fast.
Yeah, as well as the fact that the Radiant Courier was sniped by that anti-mage, it's just setting everything back. No one, is going for that BKB next. Do you think this is an essential item next on this Alchemist to allow him to maybe fight into this OD?
Surprised he's not going for the blink. I think a lot of times you would go blink, but we're going to see an engagement here top around the runes.
Yeah, Stampede, but it's not enough to save. Actually, the Hand of God? The pipe? Snake King?
Alive?
No,
no,
he's not able to take it out. But he lived for far longer than we thought he would. Alchemist actually stunning up himself. They buy back over here on Snake King. So maybe we're having a bigger engagement than we thought. I don't think they're going to be able to chase down the Alchemist. Snake King, he's on top of it. Over here, but they found CCNC instantly killed.
He just got burrow striked and immediately died.
And now Snake King, he fought back for this. He doesn't have the active of his hood, so he's just going to tick down. They even throw down the golem to stun up the Chen in the trees, and this is just a massacre here for VP in this top lane.
This was a disastrous fight for forward. If CCNC gets the BKB off, like maybe this fight doesn't go too bad because he can actually dish out a ton of damage, but gets immediately burrow striked instead. And so when that happens, like this fight's pretty much over. You buy back on the Centaur and die anyway. That's really bad.
Yeah, this Alch and the Ember Spirit, they just weren't controlled in that fight at all, and so unfortunate for the side of forward. They're their OD, who's meant to be their early game damage, you know, has even gone for this defensive item of the BKB. They're just able to kill her in the duration of the Biostrike. Yuar is obviously doing a good job of, you know, keeping up in his farm, was cutting all the waves, split pushing as much as he can, but, you know, he's not really a threat, and, you know, he probably did the right thing not coming to that fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing anti-mage right now, the last thing you want to do is show up in a fight, die, and then not be able to farm. So he's just going to keep splitting the map as much as possible, trying to get this Manta completed and online. If he gets to this like critical mass anti-mage, Alchemist cannot play his game. Like, he just gets immediately killed by anti-mage anytime anti-mage finds him on the map. It's a pretty insane difference of a game.
Yeah, Pasha sitting in the trees over here is affected. Oh, actually, that was the Radiant scan to check for other people. I take that back. I thought they were looking for him over here, but you know, just continuing his pushing. Actually has enough money for the Manta style once he heads over to a secret shop.
They found Pasha. MSS just rolled in, immediately connects and pops the dust, and he just goes down.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect the Sand King to die. I was just following Yuar. I caught the tail end of the engagement, but I guess they knew exactly where he was because he was still sitting inside his sandstorm.
I mean, that's just a good play by MSS, just trying to just go for it anyway, right? Why not?
No one has his BKB online, and it looks like they're thinking about some sort of aggression.
Smoke
Smoke
right
on smoke.
by each other.
Yeah, they're not gonna find each other.
Alk walked probably, I would say, just a hair outside of the smoke pop range of Forward Gaming there. And had they been able to see that, I think that becomes a very advantageous fight for Forward, because it was the Centaur who would have gotten the Blink Stun initiation.
Do they have any more minus armor than the Acid Spray for this Roshan? Or is that all they really have?
So.
And over here, MSS, they're going to scout them with this courier. So they're going to realize what's up. They know exactly where they are. The blink forward, it's onto 2. He does have the rock, but he's silenced up. I don't know if he's going to be able to drop it. They use the Stampede. It's a triple remnant. The rock, it does come down in time. So they are able to take down the Earth Spirit solo. He is very low. It's going to drop to CCC, but no one has a BKB of his own. Will they be able to take down the Anti-Mage? Yuar, he's used up into the air. Will they be able to kill him? Yes, they will. This double damage. Meanwhile, they find Pylite down the backline, and CCNC use his BKB. Is he going to be able to retreat to safety? They're popping the drums to try and chase him, but I think OD is going to be just fine. But another great fight for the side of VP.
Yeah, there's not a lot of damage coming out from Forward right now. CCNC pops his BKB and tries to turn into the Alchemist, and no one's like, yeah, well, I can play this game too. Turns his BKB on, and OD just kind of runs around like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do anymore. So it's just a pretty disastrous fight for Forward when they don't get the jump on a hero that they need.
Yeah,
don't have the lockdown otherwise.
One thing I do have to point out, no matter how monstrously farmed no one is, you know, the net worth advantage is not as much as you might think it was when you're playing an Alchemist lineup. You know, it's only 3k at this moment in time for the side of VP, and, you know, oftentimes with Alchemist lineups, you know, we see much bigger leads this early on.
Yeah, I think a lot of that just goes out to Yuar's ability to try and find farm here around the map, but one thing is going to be scary is Ramses. Like, he doesn't... Ooh, are they going to find a kill here? They spotted Yuar for a moment. Alright, not going to happen.
Oh no, but the Burrow strike in, they do have a ward down. It looks like Pylite is the one who they're picking out. They're not going for the Anti-Mage, and Pylite, the silence over here, but it doesn't really matter. Stampede back, Ramsey, Slice of Fist, Searing Chains. They are going to get the kill onto Pylite. In fact, no one going to be the one to snipe it with that unstable concoction. Yeah, just fighting around these bounty runes. How many was that for the... looks like that was 3 bounty runes for the Radiant side, and that does accelerate them forward even further.
Yeah, that Alchemist effect kicking in on that Grievel's Greed. He just gets so much from each of these bounties, and he's got an AC pretty much completed, if I remember. It looks like it's on Courier. Yeah. So yep. AC completed on Courier, just has BKB to pretty much just allow him to do whatever he wants in these fights at this point.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, it feels like pretty soon it's time to start talking about Aghanim and I'm looking at the side of Virtus Pro, and they're all honestly amazing. Like, every single Aghanim no one could gift is absolutely bonkers and could change the game in itself.
I think you just give it to the Ember Spirit, right? You just give him his first Aghanims, and then
Radiant
suddenly,
structures are
like,
fortified.
Ember Spirit is
Dire's
pretty
middle
much
tower is
unkillable.
under
Like, that
attack.
hero does
Dire's
so much with
middle
an
tower
Aghs.
has fallen.
Yeah, but, you know, as well, versus an anti-mage, I can't think of a better target for the Grimstroke Aghanims, or even just the longer disable of the golems. It's, you know, if this game goes incredibly late, I think PP, you know, they're going to have a fun time of it all.
CCNC trying to steal something, always snubbed out.
The God Strike, is it enough? No, not even able to pop his BKB, just frontlining on the OD, just thinking he's getting free intelligence for no one, and that is certainly not the case. They do have the Spirit Vessel, but, you know, everything they're using, this is for no one's first life. You know,
This is a buyback on CCNC, and they're not really getting anything for it.
Oh no, he does get the BKB off in time. The Santis it evaporates the Sanking, and now no one. He might be in trouble. Is certainly going to lose the first life of the Aegis here. All the meanwhile, Yua's anti-mage has been split pushing this top lane, but it looks like he's not going for the racks. He wants to perhaps cut some people off. Golem, it's being faked out. It looks like they don't need it for MSS, but I take that back. He's able to roll away to safety.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
All right. I mean, you are putting off a lot of pressure. I believe he got... I don't know if there was a tower there. Yeah, there was. Yeah, so he got the tower in the top lane.
Yeah, I'm honestly a bit surprised Yua came back when he did, because I definitely think he could have done some tier 3 chip damage in return for losing their melee barracks.
I'm surprised that they kind of, I don't want to say held, because they did lose melee, but they didn't lose more, I suppose. I think forward, they're struggling a lot in these fights. It just seems a little bit uncoordinated compared to Virtuous Pro, who just kind of take the fights on their own terms and kind of run over forward. To be honest, like the fights just seem so awkward for forward gaming.
Yeah, they're literally just chasing them across the map for the side of Virtus Pro. Oh, you are another courier? He got recalled just in time. The courier almost just walked over him. They'll be happy about that if they ever figure out that happened for the side of Virtus Pro. But now shrines are open because you've taken tier 3s, and one thing they do probably need to get under control is these lanes, because Yua is doing a great job at his split push across the map.
I really like No One's build here. He's actually going for the Abyssal Blade. Just more lockdown, which, honestly, why not? In a game like this, you're so far ahead. Lockdown is going to win you these games. Allows you to also stun OD through his BKB. And if you're able to get on top of the anti-mage, you'll have that Abyssal Blade active as well.
Yeah, Yua looks like he is now going for the full-blown split push. The Ember Spirit TP's back, but I don't think Ramses is a kill you can get. Well, he's just manning up, hitting these tier 3s over here. The stun, it doesn't connect thanks to the self-imprisonment, as well as the Inkspell. Oh, snaking over here is going to be able to get back to safety, but that's another tier 3 tower. No one pops his BKB to be able to retreat out safely. Are they going to be able to catch anyone else? The Burrow Strike there from Pasha, as well as the Soul Bind. Making the Golem here over here in solo, but that might cost you your life. No, I think solo might be caught. They have the silence on him, the kick. They've got to know he's here. There you go.
Yeah, they'll get him.
They'll get solo at long last.
I mean, for TPing out in their face as the AUK, that's pretty sketch for the rest of his team, right? They're like, okay, thanks for abandoning us. We'll be back later.
My thrift reward.
But Pasha actually blinks out, avoids the dust bottom, so he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no one just continuing his way towards his Abyssal Blade. Roger was... They were all so lucky there from the side of Virtus Pro that didn't go more disastrously. The side of forward, they made a very good decision to... Now's our time where we can turn around because the ALEC's leaving. And, losing your 5 position for that, I guess you're okay with that trade for another tier 3.
Yeah, I mean, you are definitely farming very fast, but not able to contribute a lot to the game so far. Is just cutting waves constantly.
I do feel Yua, however, is at that point where he is ready to fight if needs be. Like, Anti-Mage, when you have 3 items, that really feels like that's when you're okay getting involved.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's taking 2 tier 2 towers by himself. And he's got an interesting build. Ooh, actually stun in the mid lane. They find
Roger, he does get the Soulbind as well as the Bio Strike. Now Golem on top of them. The double stun. Are they going to have enough to be able to take down Yuar's anti-mage? Yes, they will. That Epicenter the follow-up, and now CCNC by himself. I don't think you're going to be able to get away. No one, no bashes. I take it back. CCNC able to escape, but over here they found MSS. Does get caught with the end of that Inkswell.
Radiant's bottom tower
Well,
is under attack.
That does not look good for Forward. We were just saying, you know, it might be the time for Anti-Mage to get involved in this game, and his involvement
Radiant
turns into a death.
structures are
And now
fortified.
your high ground's going to be under siege again. They're probably going to have to force the buyback here.
Yeah, one thing I do have to praise is just Roger almost going down, gets that absolutely brilliant Soulbind, targets the Centaur correctly instead of the Anti-Mage who had the counter spell shield, and it just means they just get all these double stuns and all that control for the Anti-Mage before he's able to get out.
Wow, that is the fastest Abyssal.
Yep, over here you are. He's trying to fight up. Another buyback over here from the Centaur sneaking, trying to get involved. The Slicer Visit bounces back. No buyback here for CCNC. You are channeling the concoction back, but they're just being forced back to their well. Meanwhile, the side of VP, they're taking another rack. The stun as well as the Soulbind. They've lost his Chen once again. Paladaki buys back, but the double stun, the Soulbind, it's on top of all of them. The Slice Fist, Searing Chains. They've just lost absolutely everyone, and they call GG. You are just sitting in his base, and VP on the back of No One's Alchemist have done it. They've taken game one.
This was just, I don't want to say stomp, but definitely an outclassing by VP here. Like, everything went in their favor, even though